Please subscribe my channel. I didn't think much of it at first. Company parties had never been my thing anyway. Loud music, forced smiles, people pretending their coworkers were friends. When my wife mentioned the annual party coming up, I nodded and said we'd see. It was her company, her world. I was just the guy who listened when she vented at night and made coffee in the morning. Then, 3 days before the party, she said it. "Don't come to the company party. My ex will be there. I don't want him to see you." She said it casually, like she was asking me to pick up milk on the way home. No hesitation. No explanation. Just that sentence hanging in the air between us. I remember blinking once, maybe twice. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't laugh it off. I just asked, why? She sighed, already annoyed. Because it would be awkward. He and I work in the same industry. People talk. I don't need drama. Drama. That was the word she chose. Not respect. Not boundaries. Not us. Drama. I nodded again, the way I always did when something didn't sit right, but I wasn't sure how to name it yet. She went back to scrolling on her phone. Conversation over as far as she was concerned. That night, I lay awake longer than usual. It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't fear of the ex. It was something quieter and heavier. A slow realization that my presence, my role as her husband, was being treated like an inconvenience. Something to be hidden, managed, minimized. Over the next 2 days, I watched her more closely than I ever had before. Not in a paranoid way. Just observant. She was more careful with her phone. More deliberate with her words. She mentioned the party again, complaining about the dress code, the speeches, the people she'd have to pretend to like. She didn't mention him by name. Just, he'll be there. Each time it landed the same way. I thought about all the things I'd shown up for. Her late nights. Her career frustrations. The weekends we didn't take trips because she had deadlines. I thought about how often I'd stood beside her in rooms where I felt invisible, simply because that's what partners do. You show up. You stand next to each other. You don't erase one another for comfort. The morning of the party, she was unusually quiet. Focused. She dressed with more care than usual, checking her reflection, adjusting details no one at her office would notice. When she walked past me, she smelled the way she did on our first few dates. That same perfume she'd said she didn't like anymore. She paused at the door, keys in hand. "You're okay, right?" she asked, not quite meeting my eyes. "About what?" I said. She hesitated just a second too long. "About tonight." I looked at her then. Really looked. The woman I had married. The woman who once said she was proud to be with me no matter who was in the room. "Go," I said. "Have a good time." She smiled, relieved, and left. The house felt different after the door closed. Too quiet. Too honest. I made dinner for one and didn't bother turning on the TV. My phone stayed face down on the table. I wasn't waiting for updates. I wasn't checking her location. I didn't need proof. The sentence she'd given me was enough. "Don't come. I don't want him to see you." Somewhere between washing the dishes and sitting back down, something settled inside me. Not anger. Not heartbreak. Clarity. A relationship doesn't end all at once. Sometimes it ends the moment you realize you're being managed instead of chosen. I sat there long after the food went cold, understanding for the first time that I hadn't been excluded from a party. I'd been excluded from my own marriage.